She'll learn a lesson, my dad said after abandoning my 8-year-old at the airport. They were so wrong. When the phone buzzed in the middle of my meeting, I never imagined it would shatter my world. The message read, "Come get her. We're boarding now." My parents had just left my 8-year-old daughter alone at the airport to teach her a lesson. But the real lesson wasn't for her, it was for them. What they called discipline was pure cruelty, and it changed everything about how I saw family, love, and forgiveness. Now, invite you to watch how one mother turned pain into power in this heartbreaking true story. Don't forget to subscribe to USLA1 Stories, share the channel with friends and relatives, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Clara, 32, felt a chill grip her as a message vibrated her phone during a critical staff meeting. It was from the family chat, "Come get her. We're boarding now." Her mother, Eleanor, followed up with a chilling postscript, "Don't make us feel guilty. She needs to learn a lesson." They had abandoned Clara's 8-year-old daughter, Lily, at the airport. Without a reply, Clara seized her keys and bolted. The corporate reports a distant memory. This wasn't an isolated incident, but the culmination of years where her family consistently prioritized everyone else over her and, more painfully, over Lily. Looking back, Clara acknowledged her own naive hope. The signs of deep-seated favoritism had been unmistakable. Last Christmas, Lily's cousin, Chloe Eleanor and Richards, Clara's father, other granddaughter, and daughter of Clara's sister Valerie, was showered with an iPad, a new bicycle, and an avalanche of expensive dolls, turning the living room into a toy store display. Lily, the same age, received a single book and a modest sweater. Clara watched Lily's small face fall, a silent testament to the disparity. Eleanor had pulled Clara aside, offering a pseudo-psychological justification. "Lily's so quiet and serious. She doesn't need all that stimulation. Books are better for her type of personality." The subtext was clear. Chloe's happiness held more weight. A year prior, for Chloe's 8th birthday, Clara's parents spared no expense, renting a bouncy castle, hiring a princess impersonator, and hosting a grand affair for dozens of children. When Lily's 8th birthday rolled around, Clara tentatively asked for their help. Eleanor feigned exhaustion, suggesting a simple cake at Sunday dinner. Lily's celebration was a store-bought cake shared amidst a regular family meal, her candles blown out by a boisterous Chloe who insisted on helping. Clara watched her daughter's smile, already fragile, completely vanish. Every family dinner became a ritual of subtle denigration. Eleanor meticulously critiqued Lily's appearance and demeanor. "She's so skinny. Are you feeding her enough? Why doesn't she talk more? She seems sad." Meanwhile, Valerie and Jessica's, Clara's other sister, children, Chloe and Max, were lauded. Chloe's tantrums were dismissed as spirited, Max's destructive tendencies as all boy. But Lily's preference for reading was labeled concerning. Clara once attempted to address the blatant favoritism with Eleanor, who reacted with feigned outrage. "You're being overly sensitive. We love all our grandchildren equally. Perhaps you're projecting." The gaslighting worked. Clara retreated, questioning her own perception, a classic psychological manipulation that Eleanor expertly deployed. It was against this backdrop that the fateful Florida trip was proposed. Eleanor and Richard, who owned a vacation home there, announced their intention to take the entire extended family, Clara's sisters, their husbands, and all the grandchildren to Disney World. Lily's eyes, rarely so luminous, immediately sparkled. Clara, acutely aware of her family's track record, hesitated. "I don't know." Eleanor cut her off sharply. "Clara, don't be ridiculous. We raised you, didn't we? We can handle one little girl." Valerie piled on, "Don't be that mom who never lets her kid do anything." Lily's pleading gaze, filled with unadulterated hope, sealed Clara's decision. Despite her gut screaming a warning, she acquiesced, weary of being labeled overprotective. A serious discussion followed at Clara's kitchen table. "You promise you'll take care of her?" Clara demanded. Eleanor, feigning offense, replied, "Of course, she's our granddaughter. What kind of people do you think we are?" Clara would soon learn the stark reality of that question. She handed over $3,000 in cash meant to cover airfare, Disney tickets, meals, and souvenirs, a sum more than generous. Eleanor pocketed the bills without a glance, muttering dismissively, "That should cover it." Gratitude was an emotion seemingly foreign to her. The morning of departure, Clara hugged Lily tightly, kissing her goodbye. Lily, in her favorite princess sticker-covered backpack, was already lost in dreams of Space Mountain. As their car drove away, Clara's stomach churned with a sense of dread. Her instincts, she realized later, were far more reliable than her desperate hope. Clara couldn't join due to non-negotiable work deadlines. She stayed behind, battling a persistent worry that would prove entirely justified. The dreaded messages shattered Clara's focus in the conference room. Reading them repeatedly, the horrific truth emerged. Eleanor and Richard had purchased Lily's ticket in economy, while they and the rest of the family flew first class. When the 8-year-old became distressed about sitting alone with strangers, their solution was brutal in its simplicity: abandon her at the airport. They boarded their first-class flight, their comfort prioritized over Lily's safety and well-being. Clara's hands shook so violently she struggled to unlock her car. The drive to the airport was a blur of panic and incandescent rage. Her child, alone and terrified, crying for those who had sworn to protect her. She parked illegally and sprinted inside, heart hammering. Then she saw her, a small figure surrounded by police officers, sobbing on a bench, her entire body convulsing with the deep, desolate cries of complete abandonment. "Lily!" Clara screamed, pushing through the throngs. Lily looked up, her face red and swollen, and reached out. Clara dropped to her knees, embracing her daughter, who clung to her as if Clara might vanish too. "Mommy," Lily hiccuped, "they left me. Everyone left me." "I know, baby. I'm here now. I'm so sorry." They cried together. Officer Ramirez approached, his expression grim. "Ma'am, are you this child's mother?" Clara confirmed, showing him the text messages from Eleanor. His jaw tightened. His partner, Officer Lee, knelt beside Lily, reassuring her she was safe. Clara recounted the entire saga: the family's insistence, the $3,000, the economy ticket for Lily while they flew first class, and finally, their callous decision to abandon her. Officer Lee's face hardened. "Ma'am, what your family did is illegal. This is child abandonment. Airports are extremely dangerous for unaccompanied minors. She could have been trafficked, kidnapped, anything." The stark reality of the peril Lily had faced hit Clara with crushing force. They were taken to a security office to give statements. Lily, quieter now but still emitting heart-wrenching little sounds, sat in Clara's lap. "Can you tell us what happened?" Officer Lee asked gently. Lily, her face buried in Clara's shoulder, whispered, "Grandma Eleanor said I was being a baby. She said, 'Big girls don't cry about sitting alone.' Then everyone got in line and left me." Fresh tears streamed down her face. Officer Ramirez typed rapidly. "The flight landed a while ago. We're having airport police in Orlando bring them in for questioning. This is criminal child abandonment." Clara's phone buzzed relentlessly with dozens of missed calls from her family. "They must have landed and been met by the police. Good, she thought, a cold satisfaction spreading through her. Let them be terrified. Officer Ramirez advised her not to answer. Hours of paperwork followed, during which Officer Lee provided Lily with snacks, but Lily refused to let go of Clara's hand, flinching whenever someone walked past. Finally, Officer Ramirez looked up. Your family's been detained in Orlando for questioning. They'll be released, but formal charges are being filed: child abandonment, child endangerment. They're looking at serious consequences. Clara felt no guilt, only a grim sense of justice. They had chosen this. They arrived home late, Lily exhausted, asleep in the car. Clara carried her up, tucked her in, and sat watching her sleep, a fury building in her chest unlike anything she'd ever known. How dare they? How dare her family inflict this on her child? The worst part was, she wasn't even surprised. The pattern of dismissiveness and disregard had been laid bare for years. The next morning, Lily woke up quiet and withdrawn, clinging to her stuffed rabbit, dark circles under her eyes. Clara sat beside her, offering comfort without crowding. Baby, do you want to talk about yesterday? After a long silence, Lily spoke, her voice flat and devoid of emotion. I don't ever want to see them again. The words from an 8-year-old sounded too old, too burdened with pain. Clara understood implicitly. Whose sweetheart? She asked softly. Grandma Eleanor and Grandpa Richard, Aunt Valerie and Aunt Jessica, everyone. They made me feel like I wasn't wanted. Clara's heart shattered. I understand. And you never have to see them if you don't want to. What they did was so wrong. Lily looked up, red-eyed. Really? I don't have to. Clara affirmed. Really? This is your choice. And Mommy's going to make sure they understand they can't treat you like that. Clara called in sick, a rare occurrence, and they spent the day cocooned in their safe bubble, watching movies and ordering pizza. Clara's phone rang incessantly. She ignored Eleanor's frantic messages. Answer your phone. This is ridiculous. You're overreacting. Tell the police this is a misunderstanding. The sheer entitlement ignited Clara's anger. A misunderstanding? They had texted her they were leaving Lily and boarding. That was a conscious choice. Richard's message was equally infuriating. Family doesn't do this to family. The irony was almost comical. Family also doesn't abandon 8-year-olds at airports. Valerie sent lengthy texts, accusing Clara of being dramatic, claiming Lily was fine, and that Clara was destroying the family over nothing. Nothing. They called leaving her daughter crying and alone at an airport nothing. Clara blocked every number. She then called her best friend, Sophia. Upon hearing the story, Sophia's fury was immediate. They left Lily alone? Those monsters. Whatever you need to do, I support completely. Sophia's validation was everything. Any reasonable person would be horrified. Clara wasn't crazy. They were wrong. The next day, Detective Evans from Orlando PD called, confirming the family's questioning and release. They're being charged with child abandonment and child endangerment. These charges will likely result in fines and probation rather than jail time for first offenders. The detective confirmed a court date would be set and, crucially, a no-contact order for Lily. If they violate that, additional charges. Perfect. Over the following days, extended family members, using unblocked numbers, began contacting Clara. Great Aunt Susan left voicemails about tearing the family apart. Cousin Maria texted about Clara being unreasonable. Eleanor's friend called, urging forgiveness and forgetting. Each message fueled Clara's anger. Not one person asked if Lily was okay, nor did anyone acknowledge the family's wrongdoing. It was all about how Clara needed to fix this, how she was causing problems. Well, family should also not abandon children, Clara retorted in her mind. She changed her phone number, blocked everyone on social media, and erected an impenetrable wall around Lily and herself. Her boss, surprisingly supportive, granted her the time off she needed. What they did crosses every line. Take whatever time you need. That support was immeasurable. Lily began therapy immediately with Dr. Evelyn Stone, a child psychologist recommended by the police. Dr. Stone was patient, skilled, and understanding in helping children process trauma. But progress was slow. Lily experienced nightmares, panicked if Clara was even minutes late, and refused to let her out of sight. The emotional damage would take time to heal. Weeks later, the arraignment arrived. Clara arranged for Sophia to watch Lily. The courthouse felt cold and sterile. Her family sat together, dressed in their Sunday best, Eleanor looking tired, Richard fuming. Eleanor tried to stand when she saw Clara, but their lawyer restrained her, her eyes pleading. Clara looked away. She wasn't there to make them feel better. The judge entered, and proceedings were formal and swift. The charges were read aloud: child abandonment, child endangerment. How do the defendants plead? Not guilty, Your Honor. Of course. The judge set a trial date and reiterated the conditions. All defendants are ordered to have no contact with the minor child. Violation will result in immediate arrest. Clear? Yes, Your Honor. Clara saw Richard's hands clench. No contact meant no birthdays, no holidays, no future opportunities to mend the fractured relationship. As they filed out, Eleanor attempted to approach Clara. Clara, please. Can't we talk? No, Clara said, not stopping. Richard called after her, You're destroying this family. Clara turned back. I'm holding you accountable. There's a difference. In the parking lot, Clara sat processing. Criminal charges, court dates, it was all truly happening. And she felt nothing but an unwavering certainty. They deserved this. She picked Lily up from Sophia's, and her daughter immediately asked how it went. Clara decided on age-appropriate honesty. The judge said they have to stay away from us. They're not allowed to contact you at all. Lily nodded slowly. Good. I don't want to see them anyway. That evening, a flicker of curiosity led Clara to discreetly check Eleanor's social media from a fake account. Eleanor's status was a lengthy diatribe about being persecuted by her own daughter, claiming one mistake shouldn't define a person, and how family should forgive. The comments section overflowed with supportive messages from those oblivious to the truth. Clara considered revealing everything but stopped herself. Let them believe what they wanted. Engaging in online arguments wouldn't help Lily heal. Then an unexpected letter arrived from her parents' lawyer, a demand for the return of property. Clara read it multiple times, baffled. They wanted the $3,000 back. Their logic was truly astounding. Since the trip didn't happen, Clara should return the money they'd supposedly spent preparing. Clara actually laughed aloud. These people were beyond belief, abandoning her daughter, and now demanding payment from times her asterisk. She called attorney Eleanor Vance, a lawyer friend. Eleanor Vance listened carefully. What they did is unconscionable, Clara, but this gives us an opportunity. We can file a counterclaim for the return of that money. You gave it for Lily's expenses, they failed to provide services. That money is yours. Can we do both criminal and civil? And Clara asked. Absolutely. Criminal addresses the crimes. Civil addresses the financial harm. You have an excellent case. Let's do it. If they wanted to fight about money, Clara would fight, and she would win. Attorney Vance filed the counterclaim. Instead of paying them, Clara was suing for the $3,000 plus therapy costs. Their lawyer attempted to negotiate, drop their claim if Clara dropped hers. Attorney Vance's response was sharp and precise. Your clients abandoned a child after taking money for her care. My client is owed restitution. The settlement is $3,000 plus therapy costs plus court fees. Otherwise, we'll see you in court. They refused. Fine, Clara thought. She had receipts, texts, a paper trail. Let a judge decide. The criminal trial unfolded months later, a formal and somber affair. The prosecution presented a clear timeline, compelling text messages, and the powerful testimony of Officer Ramirez. In my years of airport security, he stated, his voice resonating with conviction, I've never seen a family deliberately abandon a child like this. Usually, families are frantic. These people boarded a plane on purpose. His words carried significant weight with the jury. Clara testified calmly, recounting every detail, the family's insistence, the money she provided, the chilling text messages, and the harrowing moment she found Lily with the police. How has this affected your daughter? The prosecutor asked. She has nightmares. She panics if I'm even minutes late. She's in therapy and will be for a long time. She went from being confident and happy to being afraid of abandonment everywhere. My family stole her sense of security. Clara observed jurors shaking their heads sympathetically. The defense, during cross-examination, attempted to frame the incident as a misunderstanding. Isn't it possible your family simply misjudged the situation? The defense lawyer probed. They sent messages saying they were leaving her and boarding. That's not misjudging. That's choosing, Clara countered, shutting down every angle. Eleanor took the stand in her own defense, a performance of feigned distress. Dabbing her eyes with a tissue, her voice trembling, she claimed, I never meant for this to happen. We thought Lily would be fine. We didn't realize she'd be so upset. By the time we understood, it was too late. The prosecutor rose for cross-examination, his tone unwavering. Mrs. Hayes, you sent a message saying, don't make us feel guilty. She needs to learn a lesson. What lesson was an 8-year-old supposed to learn from being abandoned? Eleanor stammered. I just meant she needed to be independent. She added, we didn't abandon her. We left her where there was security. The prosecutor projected her texts onto the screen. You wrote, come get her. We're boarding now. You gave Miss Hayes minutes to reach an airport far away. That sounds like abandonment. Eleanor had no coherent answer. She tried claiming she thought Clara was closer, but the timeline definitively disproved this. The prosecutor continued, Miss Hayes gave you $3,000 for Lily's expenses. Why did you purchase an economy ticket for her while flying first class yourselves? Eleanor replied, we wanted to be comfortable. Then, realizing the implication, hastily added, I mean, we have back problems. We needed extra space. Did you consider upgrading Lily's ticket? First class was expensive. How expensive? The prosecutor knew, about $800 each. So with $3,000 you could have bought Lily first class, correct? Eleanor's face flushed. I suppose, but we needed money for other things. What things? Hotel upgrades, nice dinners, activities. So, you used money given for Lily's expenses to upgrade your own accommodations. The prosecutor let the implication hang in the air. Richard testified next, attempting to project dignity and reason. We love our granddaughter. It was a terrible misunderstanding. We never intended to hurt her. But under cross-examination he couldn't explain his actions. When your granddaughter was crying, why didn't you sit with her? Why? Because we'd paid for first class, he said, as if that explained everything. So your comfort was more important than an 8-year-old's safety. See? That's not what I'm saying. Then what times are times you saying? No answer. Valerie and Jessica testified briefly, claiming they thought Eleanor and Richard would handle it. I didn't know they'd just leave her. Valerie insisted. I thought they had a plan. But you boarded the plane, saw Lily crying, and boarded anyway. I thought Mom and Dad would stay. Their excuses were flimsy at best. The trial lasted days. The jury deliberated for less than 2 hours before returning guilty verdicts. Eleanor sobbed as the judge read them aloud. Richard sat stone-faced, but his hands trembled. Sentencing came weeks later. The prosecutor argued for maximum penalties, emphasizing the trauma inflicted. The defense begged for leniency, citing age and clean records. The judge listened, then delivered his ruling. What the defendants did was reprehensible. They took money, purchased inadequate accommodations, and abandoned a child when it was inconvenient. However, I recognize these are first-time offenders. He sentenced Eleanor and Richard to probation, community service, mandatory parenting classes, and fines. Valerie, Jessica, and their spouses received probation, community service, and fines. Eleanor collapsed in relief. No jail, just probation. Civil cases next. Attorney Vance whispered to Clara, "That's where we really make them pay." The judge continued, "Furthermore, all defendants are prohibited from contact with the minor child. Permanent protective order. That was something. They couldn't see or contact Lily until she was 18. As they left, Eleanor called after Clara, "Clara, please, can't we talk?" Clara didn't turn around. They were done. The civil case, scheduled later, was simpler, purely about money. Attorney Vance prepared everything. Straightforward. You gave money for a specific purpose. They failed to fulfill it and refused to return it. The judge will see clearly. Clara hoped she was right. She wanted that money back. She wanted to take Lily to Disney herself. The hearing day arrived. A small, less formal courtroom. Her family looked exhausted, the trials having taken their toll. Eleanor had lost weight. Richard looked older. A tiny part of Clara felt a pang of pity, but the larger part remembered Lily crying alone at the airport. The judge called order and asked Clara to present first. She kept it simple. "Your Honor, I gave my parents $3,000 for my daughter's trip expenses. They were to care for her, take her to Disney, ensure she had everything. Instead, they purchased a substandard ticket, then abandoned her. They refused to return any money." The judge turned to Eleanor and Richard. "Accurate?" Their lawyer stood. "Your Honor, my clients used some money for trip planning and purchased a plane ticket. They provided services in good faith." "How much was the ticket?" $180. "And the remaining $2,820 was used for trip planning, hotel upgrades, accommodations?" The judge looked skeptical. "Were these for the child?" The lawyer hesitated. "For the family overall? So, they used money given for the child's expenses on their own comfort." "Your Honor, the trip didn't happen due to the child's behavior." The lawyer tried. "Big mistake." The judge's face hardened. "Counselor, are you arguing an 8-year-old is responsible for being abandoned?" "No, Your Honor. I've heard enough. Miss Hayes, do you have receipts showing you provided this money?" Clara and Attorney Vance handed over bank withdrawal slips and the damning text messages. The judge read carefully, his frown deepening. Mrs. Hayes, Mr. Hayes, you wrote, "Come get her. We're boarding. And, don't make us feel guilty." What lesson was that? Eleanor tried to speak but failed. Richard interjected, "We thought she needed to learn independence by abandoning her." The judge's voice was sharp. He turned back to Clara. "Miss Hayes, what damages are you seeking?" Attorney Vance answered, "Return of the full $3,000 plus court costs, plus therapy costs to date. Total around $5,000. Her parents' lawyer stood. "Your Honor, that's excessive. The child is fine. The child is in therapy because your clients traumatized her," Attorney Vance shot back. "These are real costs, Miss Hayes incurred directly from their actions." The judge nodded. "I've seen enough. Judgment for plaintiff. Defendants are jointly liable for $5,000, payable within 30 days. Case closed." He banged his gavel. Eleanor burst into tears. Richard looked furious. Clara felt grim satisfaction. They would pay every penny. As they left, Richard tried once more. "Clara, this is ridiculous. We're family." Clara stopped, faced him. "No, Dad. Family doesn't do what you did. You stopped being family when you left Lily crying at that airport." "She's fine," he insisted. "Stop being dramatic." That word, dramatic, used her whole life to dismiss her feelings. "I'm done," Clara said simply. "Don't contact me. Communicate through lawyers if needed, but we're finished." She walked away without looking back. Attorney Vance beside her said, "That went well. They have 30 days or we garnish wages." "Will they pay?" Clara asked. "They'll pay. Nobody wants wage garnishment. Too embarrassing." She was right. Less than a month later, a check for $5,000 arrived. No note, no apology, just the check. Clara deposited it immediately and started planning. Lily and she were going to Disney World. Just them. That evening, Clara sat Lily down. Lily had been doing better in therapy. Nightmares were less frequent. Dr. Stone had noted good progress. "Baby, remember how Grandma Eleanor and Grandpa Richard were supposed to take you to Disney?" Lily nodded cautiously. "Well, they had to pay back all the money they took from us, and I have an idea what to do with it." Lily's eyes widened. "What? How would you like to go to Disney? Just you and me. We'll fly first class, stay at the best hotel, spend a week doing everything you wanted." Clara watched carefully, ready to back off if it was too much. But instead of fear, she saw excitement. "Really? Just us? Just us? And this time, I promise nobody will leave you behind." Lily threw her arms around Clara. "Can we really afford it?" The fact her 8-year-old worried about money broke Clara's heart. "We can definitely afford it. This is money that was supposed to be for your trip anyway." Planning the trip became their project. They spent evenings looking at Disney websites, picking parks, making lists of characters and rides. Lily circled pictures and brochures, creating detailed schedules. Clara watched her transform from a scared, withdrawn child back into someone who could feel excitement. This trip was more than just Disney. It was reclaiming what had been stolen. Clara booked the Grand Floridian, Disney's premier resort. First-class flights both ways, character dining, everything she'd originally wanted for Lily. The cost utilized most of the settlement money. As departure approached, Clara noticed Lily, becoming anxious, not excited. "What's wrong, baby?" Lily bit her lip. "What if something goes wrong?" Clara pulled her into her lap. "Nothing will go wrong. They can't stop us. They're not allowed to contact us, remember? And even if they tried, I wouldn't let them. You and I are doing this together. Promise. I promise. You're my priority. Not them, not anyone else. Just you. That reassured her. The night before they left, Clara helped Lily pack her suitcase. She carefully folded new princess dresses they'd bought. "Mommy, thank you for always choosing me," Lily said quietly. Those words hit hard. "Always, baby, I will always choose you." Every single time. Lily hugged her tight. Clara felt immense gratitude. Despite everything, Lily still trusted her. Her family had tried to break that trust, but they were healing. The next morning, they headed to the airport. Clara would be lying if she said she wasn't nervous too. The last time at an airport had been the worst day of their lives. But this was different. They were together from the start. They checked in at the first-class counter, received boarding passes with their names side by side. Clara Hayes and Lily Hayes, seats together, first class, like Lily deserved. Going through security, Clara held Lily's hand and explained every step. "We're staying together. You're not going anywhere without me." Lily nodded, gripping tightly. At the gate, Clara showed the boarding passes again. "See, same plane sitting right next to each other. What if they separate us?" Lily worried. Clara knelt. "They won't. And even if someone tried, which they won't, I'd raise such a fuss the whole airport would hear. You are not going anywhere without me. Got it?" That earned a small smile. "Got it." When first-class boarding was called, Lily's eyes widened as they walked on ahead of everyone. A flight attendant greeted them warmly. "Welcome. First time flying first class?" Lily nodded shyly. "Well, you're in for a treat. Cookies, juice, movies on your own screen." The seats were huge, with more legroom than Lily knew what to do with. She pressed every button, adjusting the recline, footrest, and light. "This is amazing," she whispered. Clara felt tears prick her eyes. This should have been her original experience. As the plane took off, Lily pressed her face to the window, watching the ground fall away. "Mommy, look, everything's getting so small." Clara squeezed her hand, feeling a weight lift. They were doing this, reclaiming what was taken. The flight attendants spoiled them. Warm cookies, fresh fruit, fancy sodas in real glasses. Lily tried to stay composed, but her amazement at every luxury was evident. They landed in Orlando early afternoon, the Florida sunshine a warm embrace. A rental car awaited them. The drive to the hotel took time, with Lily's face glued to the window, taking in the palm trees and vibrant colors. The Grand Floridian was spectacular, a Victorian-style building, elegant and magical, exactly what Clara wanted. A bellhop took their luggage while they checked in. Lily's mouth hung open at the lobby with its crystal chandeliers and live piano music. "Is this real?" she whispered. "It's real. This is all for us." Their room was actually a suite with a separate bedroom for Lily, a living area, and a balcony overlooking Magic Kingdom. They could see Cinderella's castle in the distance, lit against the evening sky. "Mommy," Lily breathed, standing on the balcony, "I can see the castle from here." "I know. Pretty amazing, right?" She turned and hugged Clara tightly. "This is the best day ever. Thank you for bringing me. Thank you for not leaving me." Her words reminded Clara why they were there, not just for Disney, but to prove Lily was valued, wanted, and loved. They spent that evening exploring the hotel, having dinner, and riding the monorail just for fun. Lily was exhausted by bedtime, but happily so. As Clara tucked her in, Lily looked up with serious eyes. "Mommy, this is better than if they'd taken me." "How so?" "How so?" "Because with them, I would have felt like a burden, like I was in the way. But with you, I never feel that. I feel wanted. Clara's heart broke and healed simultaneously. You are wanted, Lily. You're the most important person in my world. Don't ever forget that. I won't. And Mommy, I'm glad it's just us. Even if none of the bad stuff happened, I think I'd have more fun with just you. Coming from Lily, that was the highest compliment. And the truth was, Clara agreed. This week was just theirs. No complicated dynamics. No trying to please everyone, just mother and daughter building their own traditions. The next morning, they woke early for their first full day at Magic Kingdom. Lily had chosen her outfit the night before, a special princess dress. She twirled in the mirror, sparkles catching the light. I look like a real princess, she said with wonder. You are a real princess. My princess. They had breakfast at the hotel, then took the monorail to the park. Walking down Main Street with the castle ahead, Clara watched Lily's face light up with pure joy. This was what childhood should look like. Wonder, excitement, security. No fear, no abandonment, just magic and possibility. They rode every ride Lily wanted, met every character, and ate too much candy. Clara took hundreds of photos of her smiling face. By mid-afternoon, sitting on a bench eating ice cream, Lily said, I'm glad they didn't come. I'm glad it's just us. Clara pulled her close. Me too, baby. This is our trip, our memories. They spent the week in a blur of happiness, all the parks, character meals, late nights watching fireworks. Lily transformed before Clara's eyes, becoming more confident with each passing day. The scared little girl left at the airport was being replaced by someone who knew she was valued. On their last night, watching fireworks over the castle, Lily slipped her hand into Clara's. Mommy, this was the best week of my whole life. Mine too, sweetheart. And Clara meant it. This week had been about more than Disney. It was about showing Lily she mattered, she deserved good things, and not everyone would leave her. The flight home was bittersweet, both exhausted but happy, loaded with souvenirs and memories. Lily fell asleep before takeoff, her head on Clara's shoulder. Clara looked at her peaceful face and felt overwhelming gratitude. They'd made it through, survived what her family did, and come out stronger. When they landed home, Sophia picked them up with her daughter, Chloe, not the niece Chloe, but Sophia's daughter. The girls hugged like they'd been apart forever. How was it? Sophia asked, loading luggage. Perfect, Clara said simply. Exactly what we needed. Sophia squeezed her hand, understanding. Good. You both deserve that. As they drove, Lily chattered to Chloe about rides and characters, her enthusiasm infectious. Later that evening, after unpacking and getting Lily into bed, Clara did something she'd been planning. She posted photos on social media from a new account her family didn't know about. First-class seats with Lily grinning, Lily hugging Mickey in front of the castle, the two of them on the hotel balcony with the castle behind. The caption was simple, sometimes the best family is the one you choose. Thank you to everyone who supported us. She tagged Sophia and a few friends who'd been there for them. Within an hour, the photos were shared and commented on. So glad you got your Disney trip. You both deserve all the happiness. Clara didn't mention her parents or what they did. Everyone who mattered already knew. The next morning, Sophia called. Clara, did you see your mother's Facebook? No, I don't follow her anymore. Sophia hesitated. She posted about people who flaunt vacations to hurt family. And Valerie commented something nasty about people who never let things go. Clara felt a flash of anger, then let it go. Let them post whatever they want. It doesn't change anything. We had an amazing time. They can't take that away. You're right. Just wanted you to know. Thanks. But Clara wasn't letting their bitterness ruin their happiness. Over the following weeks, life settled into a new normal. Lily's therapy sessions reduced to once a week, a clear sign of progress. She was doing better in school, making friends more easily, participating more. Her teacher pulled Clara aside. I don't know what happened over your trip, but Lily seems like a completely different child. More engaged, confident, wonderful to see. We had a really good trip, Clara told her. Sometimes that's all it takes. Dr. Stone noticed too. This Disney trip was incredibly healing. Creating positive memories to replace traumatic ones was brilliant. Clara just wanted her happy. Mission accomplished. Clara also noticed she was different, lighter somehow. For years, she'd been trying to please her family, to fit in, to make them see Lily's worth. Now that they'd cut them off, she wasn't carrying that weight. She could just be Lily's mom without worrying about criticism or comparisons. It was freeing in a way she hadn't expected. A few weeks after returning, she got a call from an unknown number. Usually, she didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Miss Hayes, this is Detective Evans from Orlando PD. Wanted to update you about. About what? The probation terms for your family require parenting classes and counseling. They've completed the requirements. Probation is ongoing, but they're in compliance with court orders. Okay. I also wanted you to know the protective order remains in effect. Good. I don't want them anywhere near her. Understood. Just keeping you informed. If they violate the order in any way, contact us immediately. After hanging up, Clara sat thinking. Her family was taking classes, going to counseling, checking boxes. But she doubted they'd actually learned anything. People like them didn't change because a judge told them to. Time passed. Weeks became months. Lily continued thriving. They settled into routines, school, therapy, work, weekends together. Clara joined a support group for parents dealing with family estrangement, which helped more than expected. Hearing other stories reminded her that cutting off toxic family, even parents, was sometimes the healthiest choice. She wasn't a bad daughter. She was a good mother protecting her child. Spring arrived, and Lily's 9th birthday approached. Last year, her 8th birthday had been overshadowed by the airport incident. This year, Clara was determined to make it special. What do you want to do? She asked. Can we have a party just with my real times friends? The phrase real friends told Clara everything. Lily was learning to distinguish between people who genuinely cared and people who merely pretended. Absolutely. Who do you want to invite? Lily made a list. Kids from school, Sophia's daughter Chloe, a few neighbors. Not one family member. They planned everything together, an art-themed party. Since Lily loved painting, they set up easels in the backyard, bought supplies, and planned an afternoon of creativity followed by cake and pizza. The party was a success. Lily laughed and played, looking genuinely happy surrounded by people who celebrated her for who she was. Watching her blow out her candles, Clara felt grateful. They'd come so far from the scared little girl at the airport. As spring turned to summer, they settled into a comfortable rhythm. Lily joined an art class, made more friends, even started sleeping over at Sophia's house, occasionally a significant milestone considering her abandonment trauma. Each sleepover was carefully built up too. But she was ready, growing confident in her security. One Saturday afternoon, something happened that would become the final confirmation they'd made the right choice. Clara was at the grocery store with Lily. They were in the produce section picking apples when Clara saw her. Eleanor, 2 aisles over with Valerie, carts full of groceries. For a moment, their eyes met across the store. Clara froze, unsure what to do. Leave? Stay? Before she could decide, Lily tugged her sleeve. Mom, what about these apples? Those look perfect, baby, Clara said, trying to keep her voice normal. But Lily had followed Clara's gaze and spotted them too. Clara saw Lily's body tense, fear flashing across her face. It's okay, Clara whispered. They can't come near us. The judge said so. Eleanor and Valerie were having an intense whispered conversation, glancing their way. Clara expected them to leave, to avoid awkwardness. Instead, they started walking toward their section. Clara's protective instincts kicked in. She moved slightly in front of Lily, positioning herself between her daughter and them. They stopped about 10 feet away, just far enough to technically not violate the order. Eleanor opened her mouth, but Clara cut her off. Don't. You're not allowed to contact us. We're just shopping, Eleanor said, her voice cold. This is a public place. Then shop somewhere else. The protective order says no contact. That includes approaching us in public. Valerie scoffed. You're being ridiculous. We have just as much right to be here. She was legally right, but this felt like a violation anyway. Clara could feel Lily pressed against her back, her hand clutching Clara's shirt hem. She was scared. These people who were supposed to love her had made her afraid. Eleanor's eyes flicked to Lily, and Clara saw something cross her face, not regret or love, but annoyance. Like Lily was an inconvenience she'd rather not deal with, because apparently, they still were. Then she turned to Valerie and said loud enough for Clara to hear clearly. Some people hold grudges forever. It's exhausting. The casual cruelty of it took Clara's breath away. No acknowledgement of what they'd done. No remorse. Just dismissing their pain as a grudge, as if they were being petty about nothing. Clara felt something inside her harden into steel. This was who they were, who they'd always been. Let's go, Lily, Clara said, abandoning their half-full cart. She wasn't standing here letting them pretend they were victims. As they walked away, she heard Valerie say, dramatic as always. Clara didn't respond, didn't give them the satisfaction, but felt Lily shaking against her as they hurried to the car in the parking lot. Clara knelt to her level. Are you okay, sweetheart? Lily's eyes were filled with tears. Why didn't Grandma Eleanor even look at me? Why did she act like that? And there it was. The question Clara had been dreading. How do you explain to a child that her own grandmother doesn't care enough to even acknowledge her existence? Because, baby, some people are so focused on being right that they forget how to be kind. And that's on them, not on you. But I didn't do anything wrong, Lily said, her voice breaking. I know you didn't. You didn't do a single thing wrong. They're the ones who made bad choices, and now they're angry. There are consequences. That's not your fault. Lily nodded, but Clara could see this had shaken her. The therapy progress they'd made, the confidence she'd been building, felt fragile again. That night, Clara called Dr. Stone and scheduled a session. The encounter had reopened wounds she thought were healing. During therapy, Lily was quiet at first. Then she said something that gutted Clara. If Grandma Eleanor loved me, she would have at least smiled at me, right? Dr. Stone looked at Clara, then back at Lily. Lily, sometimes adults make choices that have nothing to do with the children in their lives. Your grandmother's choices tell us about her, not about you. But she looked at me like I wasn't there. I know, sweetheart, and that must have hurt so much. Lily nodded, tears streaming. It did. It still does. After the session, Dr. Stone pulled Clara aside. That encounter was a setback, but we'll work through it. The important thing is you continue reinforcing that their behavior isn't about her worth. I try, but how do I protect her from running into them? We live in the same area. You can't control random encounters, but you can control how you respond. You did well keeping her safe and getting out. Just keep doing that. Over the next few weeks, Lily seemed more withdrawn again. The grocery store encounter reminded her that her family didn't want her, and that pain felt fresh. Clara tried everything to cheer her up. Extra art supplies, movie nights, trips to favorite places. Nothing seemed to fully reach her. Then one evening, as they made dinner together, Lily asked, "Mom, why do you think they don't love me?" Clara put down her spoon and gave Lily her full attention. "Oh baby, I think they probably do love you in their own limited way. But they love themselves more. They love being comfortable and being right more than they love showing up for you. That's a sad kind of love," Lily observed, a wisdom in her young voice that broke Clara's heart. "It is. And that's why we don't need them in our lives, because love shouldn't feel sad. It should feel safe and warm and happy like what we have." She thought about this. "I am happy with just us. I mean, I'm sad they don't love me the right way, but I'm happy I have you and you will always have me no matter what." Life continued. They settled back into routines after that setback. School, therapy, work, weekends. Lily's confidence slowly rebuilt. Summer arrived, bringing long days and warm nights. They spent evenings on their porch talking about everything and nothing. One evening, watching fireflies in the yard, Lily said, "Mom, I don't think about them as much anymore." No. I used to think about them every day, wonder if they missed me, if they were sorry, but now I mostly just think about us and how happy we are." That felt like a victory. Not forgetting what happened, but not letting it consume her either. As summer progressed, they took another trip, this time to the beach. Lily had never seen the ocean, and watching her play in the waves filled Clara with joy. They built sandcastles, collected shells, and spent evenings on the boardwalk eating ice cream. No fancy resorts or first-class flights this time, just simple happiness. "This is my favorite place," Lily declared one evening watching the sunset. "Better than Disney?" Clara teased. She thought seriously. "Different good. Disney was magic, but this is peaceful." Clara understood exactly what she meant. One afternoon during the beach trip, Lily asked, "Do you think they ever think about me?" Clara chose her words carefully. "I think they probably do, but I think they mostly think about how they feel wronged, not about how they hurt times you asterisk." "That's sad." "It is sad. But baby, you can't make people care the right way. You can only decide how much space they get in your life." "They don't get any space in my life," Lily said firmly. "Good, because you deserve people who show up for you, not people you have to beg to care." She nodded, satisfied with that answer. They spent the rest of the summer in peaceful routine, beach trips, art classes for Lily, lazy afternoons reading on the porch. As fall approached and a new school year started, Clara reflected on the journey they'd been on. A little over a year since the airport incident, a year of healing and growth, and building a life on their terms. Lily was thriving. She'd made the honor roll last year, had a solid group of friends, and her artwork was displayed in the school hallway. This was what mattered, not revenge or even justice, but building a life so full of love that their absence didn't leave a gaping hole. One evening, they were making dinner when Lily said something that showed how far they'd come. "Mom, you know what's weird?" "What, baby?" I used to be scared I wasn't good enough for them. But now I know they weren't good enough for us." The clarity in her statement was beautiful. "That's exactly right. And it took me a long time to learn that lesson. I'm glad you learned it younger, because you taught me," she said simply. We taught each other. As they ate dinner together, Buster, the dog they'd gotten, begged for scraps under the table. Clara felt overwhelming peace. They'd survived what her family did to them. More than survived, they'd thrived. As Lily's 9th birthday approached, Clara wanted to mark the occasion properly. Last year, her 8th birthday had been quiet, still recovering from trauma. This year would be different. "What do you want for your birthday?" Clara asked one evening. Lily thought carefully. "Can we go back to Disney just for a weekend?" The request surprised Clara. "Really? You want to go back?" Lily nodded enthusiastically. "I want to make more happy memories there. And I want to ride Space Mountain again. I was too scared last time, but I think I'm ready now." The fact she wanted to face a fear she'd had showed remarkable growth. "Then that's what we'll do. Disney World for your 9th birthday." Her face lit up in a way that made every struggle worth it. They planned a shorter trip this time, a long weekend instead of a full week. Same hotel though, the Grand Floridian. "It's our special place," Lily explained. Clara understood. That hotel represented their healing, their reclamation of what was stolen. Booking the trip felt different this time, not desperate or defiant, just joyful. They flew out on Thursday before her birthday weekend. Lily was excited but not anxious like last time. She'd learned airports weren't dangerous when she was with someone who actually cared about her. At security, she walked through confidently. No panic, no fear, growth. Their suite at the Grand Floridian felt like coming home. Lily ran to the balcony immediately. "Look, Mom, the castle's still there. It'll always be there, baby." They spent that evening exploring, having dinner, soaking in the magic. But this time, it felt lighter. Less about proving something, more about just enjoying. Friday morning, Lily's actual birthday, they started at Magic Kingdom. Clara had arranged a surprise character breakfast, and watching Lily's face light up when all the princesses sang happy birthday was perfect. "This is the best birthday ever," she whispered. "And we just started," Clara said. They rode every ride Lily wanted, ate too much candy, and laughed until their sides hurt. At one point, sitting on a bench resting, Lily said, "Mom, remember when I was scared of Space Mountain last time?" "I remember. I'm ready now. Can we go?" They waited in line together, Lily bouncing with anticipation instead of fear. As they boarded the ride, she squeezed Clara's hand. Together, always together. The ride was thrilling and fast. And when they got off, Lily was glowing. "I did it. I wasn't scared. I'm so proud of you." "I'm proud of me too." That evening, they watched fireworks from their balcony instead of in the park, more intimate, just them. As colors exploded overhead, Lily leaned against Clara. "Thank you for the best birthday. Thank you for being the best daughter." "Mom, do you think next year will be even better?" "I think every year will keep getting better because we're building something good together." She nodded, satisfied. The rest of the weekend was a blur of happiness. More rides, more characters, more memories. On the flight home Sunday, Lily was quiet but content. "What are you thinking about?" Clara asked. "Just that, I'm really lucky. I know what happened was bad, but everything after has been really good." "Does that make sense?" "Perfect sense. Sometimes the worst things lead to the best things in unexpected ways. Like how them being mean made us closer." Exactly like that. Back home, life continued its comfortable rhythm. School started. Lily joined more activities, made more friends. Her confidence was unshakable now. Dr. Stone suggested they could stop regular therapy, moving to an as-needed basis. Lily's done the work. She's processed the trauma and developed healthy coping mechanisms. She knows she can come back if needed, but I think she's ready to just be a kid now. It felt like a milestone. They'd done it. They'd healed. A few weeks after the birthday trip, Clara got a letter in the mail from Richard's lawyer. Her stomach dropped before she even opened it. What now? But inside was something unexpected, a legal document terminating probation early for good behavior. Her family had completed all requirements, paid all fines, done all service. They were free from court supervision. Clara stared at the paper, processing. Part of her expected to feel something: anger, fear, vindication, but she felt nothing. Just a distant acknowledgement of information. Their probation ending didn't change anything for them. The protective order was still in effect until Lily turned 18. And even after, Clara doubted they'd try to make contact. That encounter at the grocery store had shown her everything she needed to know. They weren't sorry. They were inconvenienced. Clara filed the letter away with other legal documents and moved on with her day. That evening, she mentioned it to Lily casually. Got a letter today. Grandma Eleanor and Grandpa Richard finished their probation. Lily looked up from her homework. Okay. Does that change anything? Nope. They still can't contact us. And even if they could, we don't want them to, right? Right. They had their chance. The clarity and peace in her response showed how far she'd come. No more wondering if they loved her. No more hoping they'd change, just acceptance of who they were and a choice to move forward without them. As fall deepened into winter, they started planning for the holidays. The last few years had been spent with Sophia's family, which was lovely. This year, Clara asked Lily what she wanted. Can we do our own traditions, just us? Like what? Like picking out a tree together, making cookies, watching Christmas movies all day, our own thing. The desire to create something uniquely theirs touched Clara. I love that idea. They spent December building their own traditions. Tree decorating became an event with hot chocolate and music. Cookie baking turned into a competition for the most creative design. Christmas morning was just them, pajamas and presents and laughter. No stress, no walking on eggshells, no trying to please anyone. Just pure joy. After opening presents, Lily said something that summed everything up perfectly. Mom, remember how I used to think family had to be people related to you? I remember. I don't think that anymore. Family is people who make you feel safe and happy and loved. Like us and Sophia and Chloe. That's our family. That's exactly right, baby. As the year came to a close, Clara reflected on the journey they'd been on. From that horrible day at the airport to this moment of peace and happiness, her family had tried to break them. Instead, they'd shown them they were stronger than they knew. They'd meant to teach Lily a lesson about being independent. They were right, just not the lesson they intended. She learned she deserved better, and so did Clara. They'd spent a year building a life so full of love and purpose that their absence didn't leave a hole. They thought leaving Lily at the airport would put her in her place. Instead, it freed them both. New Year's Eve, Lily and Clara sat on the porch watching neighbors' fireworks. What's your resolution? Lily asked. To keep doing exactly what we're doing, building a happy life together. What's yours? Same, and maybe get better at painting. You're already amazing at painting, but I want to be even better, because art makes me happy. As midnight approached and fireworks intensified, Clara pulled her close. I'm so proud of who you're becoming. Strong and kind and confident. I learned from you. We learned from each other. As the new year began with a burst of color overhead, Clara felt complete. Not because they'd gotten revenge or even justice, though both had happened, but because they'd built something beautiful from the ashes of betrayal. Her family would never understand what they'd lost, and that was their problem, not theirs. The new year brought a fresh start feeling. Lily was thriving in school, her artwork getting more sophisticated, her friendships deepening. Clara had gotten a promotion at work, recognition for the dedication she'd maintained through everything. Life felt good, stable. Then one morning in January, Clara got an email that made her pause, from her sister Valerie. Subject line, "Can we talk?" She stared at it for a long time before opening. Part of her wanted to delete it unread, but curiosity won. "Clara, I know you probably don't want to hear from me. I know I'm probably the last person you want contact with, but I need to say something. I've been thinking a lot about what happened, about what we did to Lily, and I finally understand, not because of court or therapy or anything they made us do, but because of my own daughter. Chloe asked me the other day why she doesn't see Lily anymore. And I had to explain what we did. Watching the horror on my daughter's face when she realized we left Lily alone at the airport, I finally got it. Chloe asked if someone had left her times alone in a scary place, would I have just walked away? And I couldn't answer her, because the truth is, no. I would burn the world down for my daughter, but I didn't do that for yours. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I'm not asking for a relationship. I know that ship sailed. I just needed you to know that at least one person in this family finally understands. You were right about everything. You were right to protect Lily. You were right to cut us off. You were right to make us face the consequences. I just wish I'd realized it sooner. I hope Lily's doing well. I hope she knows she was never the problem. We were." Valerie. Clara read it 3 times, looking for manipulation or a hidden agenda. She found none, just genuine remorse. Part of her wanted to respond, to acknowledge the apology, but a larger part knew it wouldn't change anything. The apology was a year too late. Their actions had shown who they were, over and over. One email didn't undo that. She closed it without responding. That evening, she showed it to Lily, letting her decide if she wanted to know. Lily read carefully, then handed the phone back. "What do you think?" Clara asked. "I think she means it, but I also think it doesn't change anything. It doesn't have to change anything. You don't owe anyone forgiveness, even aunts who finally understand." "I know, and I'm okay with that." Her certainty was beautiful. A few days later, Clara got another message, this time from Eleanor's friend, Patricia, who said Eleanor wanted to reach out but knew she couldn't due to the protective order. Would Clara be willing to meet for coffee? Clara didn't even consider it. She responded simply, "No. What's done is done." Patricia tried again, pushing about healing and forgiveness. Clara blocked her number. Some people never learned that no meant no, but it reminded Clara of something important. They needed to protect themselves better. She talked to Attorney Vance about additional steps. Attorney Vance suggested documenting everything, keeping a record of contact attempts. If they're having others reach out, that could be considered a violation of the spirit of the protective order. They sent a cease and desist letter through their lawyer. Any further attempts to contact them, even through third parties, would be considered harassment. It worked. The messages stopped. As winter turned to spring, Lily and Clara fell into a comfortable rhythm. School, work, art classes, weekends together. They'd built a life that was theirs, untainted by anyone else's drama. One Saturday, they were at the park flying a kite when Lily said, "Mom, I don't miss them anymore." No. I used to miss the idea of them, like having grandparents and aunts who cared, but I don't miss them specifically. Does that make sense? Perfect sense. You miss what you thought you had, not what you actually had. Exactly. And now I'm just happy with what we times have. Me too, baby. Spring brought more growth. Lily joined a school play, playing a small role but loving every minute. Watching her on stage, confident and glowing, Clara felt overwhelming pride. After the show, as they celebrated with ice cream, Lily said, "Thanks for coming, I wouldn't miss it for the world." I know, that's the difference. You show up. They never did. A simple observation but a profound truth. They'd never shown up times for Lily. Not really. They'd shown up for appearances, for family photos, for events that made them look good, but they'd never shown up for her, where it truly mattered. As the school year wound down, they started planning another summer beach trip. Maybe camping, definitely art camp for Lily. They were making memories and traditions that were theirs alone. One evening in May, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, Lily asked a question Clara had been waiting for. "Mom, when the protective order ends when I'm 18, do you think they'll try to contact me?" Clara thought carefully before answering. "They might, or they might not. Honestly, I don't know. But by then, you'll be an adult. You can decide what you want." "I already know what I'll want. Nothing to do with them." "That's a valid choice. But you might feel differently when you're older. And that's okay too." "I won't though. Because they showed me who they were when I was 8. I believe them." Maya Angelou, simplified but accurate. As summer arrived, they took their planned beach trip. This time, Lily was braver in the waves, more confident exploring. Watching her grow into herself was a privilege. On the last night of the trip, they were walking on the beach at sunset when she said, "You know what? I'm grateful for, what? What? That they left me at the airport." The statement shocked Clara. Really? Not because it was good. It was awful, but because it showed me the truth. If they hadn't, I might have spent my whole life wondering why they didn't love me enough. This way, I know it wasn't about me. It was always about them. The wisdom from a 9-year-old was remarkable. That's a very mature way of looking at it. I learned from the best. They walked in comfortable silence, waves lapping at their feet. "Mom." "Yeah, baby. I'm happy. Really, truly happy." "Are you?" Clara looked at her daughter, confident and joyful and secure. "I'm happier than I've ever been." And she meant it. They'd built something beautiful from the ashes of betrayal. Her family had tried to diminish them. Instead, they'd revealed their own smallness while Clara and Lily grew stronger. As they headed back to their hotel, Lily's hand in Clara's, Clara felt complete. Not because they'd gotten revenge, not even because justice was served, but because they'd chosen love over bitterness, growth over stagnation, happiness over hurt. As summer turned to fall, Lily started 4th grade with a confidence Clara had never seen before. She walked into the classroom with her head high, ready for new challenges. Her teacher called Clara aside after the first week. "I just wanted to say Lily's an absolute joy. So engaged, so creative, and her kindness with other kids is remarkable." "Thank you. She's worked hard to get here." "Well, it shows." Watching Lily thrive was vindication of every choice Clara had made. Cutting off her family hadn't damaged her. It had freed her to become who she truly was. One evening in September, they were making dinner when Lily said, "Mom, can I tell you something?" "Always." "I've been thinking about forgiveness. Not because I want to forgive times them asterisk, but just thinking about what it means." Clara put down the knife she was chopping with, giving Lily her full attention. "What are you thinking?" "I think forgiveness is when you stop letting what someone did hurt you. But that doesn't mean you have to let them back in your life." "That's very wise. So I think maybe I forgive them. Not for them, but for me. Because I don't want to be angry anymore. I just want to be happy." The maturity in her reasoning amazed Clara. I think that's a healthy way to look at it. But I still don't want to see them. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting or pretending it didn't happen. No, it doesn't. And you never have to see them if you don't want to. Good, because I don't. They continued making dinner, and Clara marveled at the child she was raising. Lily had taken a painful experience and turned it into wisdom. That was strength. October brought Lily's school art show. She had 3 pieces displayed, all of them stunning. One caught Clara's attention particularly, a painting of an airport terminal, but instead of showing abandonment, she'd painted it as a doorway. Behind the shadows and darkness, through the doorway, was light and color and possibility. Tell me about this one, Clara said. Lily explained. It's about how sometimes bad things are actually doorways to better things. What was meant to hurt me actually freed us. The symbolism was clear. Clara's 9-year-old had articulated something it had taken Clara months to understand. Her art teacher overheard. Lily has real talent, but more than that, she has depth. She understands art comes from truth. She does, Clara agreed proudly. As they drove home that night, Lily said, I'm glad people liked my art, but I didn't make it for them. I made it for me. That's the best reason to create anything. That's what you taught me. Do things that make you happy, not things that make other people approve. Had Clara taught her that? Maybe. Or maybe they'd learned it together. As the holidays approached, they continued building their own traditions. Lily wanted to volunteer at an animal shelter this year, so they spent Saturday mornings walking dogs and playing with cats. It feels good to help, she explained. Like making good things come from everything. Christmas was quiet and perfect. Just them, their traditions, their joy. No stress, no drama, no walking on eggshells. After opening presents, Lily said, This is what I wanted last year, just us being happy. Me too, baby. As the year came to a close, Clara reflected on the journey. From that terrible day at the airport to this moment of peace, they'd survived. More than survived, they'd built a life so full of love and purpose that their absence didn't hurt anymore. It just times was asterisk. They'd wanted to teach Lily a lesson about independence. They succeeded, just not how they intended. She learned she could be happy without people who didn't value her. She learned family was a choice, not an obligation. She learned she deserved better. And watching her now, confident and creative and kind, Clara knew they'd done more than survive. They'd thrived. New Year's Eve, they made resolutions together. Mine is to keep being happy and making good art, Lily said. What's yours? Same as always. To keep being the best mom I can be for the best daughter in the world. That's cheesy, Mom. But true. She laughed, and the sound filled Clara with joy. As fireworks went off at midnight, Lily hugged Clara tight. Love you, Mom. Thank you for always choosing me. Always, baby. Every single time. Standing there, watching the colors explode overhead, Clara knew they were going to be okay. Better than okay, they were going to be happy. Not despite what her family did, but because of how they'd responded to it. They'd tried to break them. Instead, they'd forged them into something stronger. And that was victory enough. Sometimes, the people who are supposed to protect us are the ones who hurt us the most, but healing begins the moment we choose ourselves and those who truly care. Clara's story reminds us that family isn't defined by blood, but by love, safety, and respect. Always protect your peace, and never apologize for setting boundaries that guard your heart. If you found strength or inspiration in this story, please support our channel USLA1 Stories by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you for listening until the end, and we'll see you in the next powerful story.